Look how happy my little man is with the sound of this car. And he's happy for a reason. He's happy because he's in the Declasse Mamba, which is one of my favourites, one of the cars I've wanted to get the most out of any of the others. It's also a car that's proven, amongst many other things, that I am an idiot. More on that later. So what we're going to do in this video, we're going to look at why this car proves I'm an idiot. We're also going to spend a bit of time looking at the customisation, because I've done a slightly different paint job on this, and I just want to show you how to achieve that if you want to do that kind of thing. We'll have a look at the history of this car, and then we'll finish with the lap. So, why does this car prove that I'm an idiot? Well, it's because I've wanted this for a very long time, and for some reason I'd convinced myself that this was one of the cars that was deleted from the game last year. Yeah, it wasn't one of the cars that was deleted from the game last year. So every time I've wanted to get hold of one and do it up, I've not bothered because I just assumed it wasn't there, but all along, there it was, down at the bottom of Legendary Motorsports, just
begging to be plucked.
So this is based on the AC Cobra, or you might know it as the Shelby Cobra, which in itself is based on the AC Ace. What basically happened is Carroll Shelby saw a version of the AC Ace, did this, and then said, "Would you mind if I put a proper engine in that for you?" And he did, and the Cobra was the result. And it's been a popular car ever since, both the original, and it spawned a wave of replicas. So many that for most of the people watching this video, you've probably never seen a real one. Almost every Cobra that you see on the roads is actually a replica. And if you want to know an easy way to tell the difference, just look at the price tag. Yeah, I mean that one is particularly expensive, but yeah. So let's get on to this paint. So what I've done here, I've done all my customisation in the arena this time, which didn't take long because there isn't much customisation. Basically you can change the exhaust and you can change the roof. That's about your lot. So customization wise, it's not brilliant, but let's be honest, do we care? Because it looks pretty damn good anyway. The only part of the customization I didn't do was the paint, and that's because I've used a glitch to put a pearlescent finish on a matte paint job. Now I don't normally use glitches, I never glitch money, I don't normally condone using glitches, but this one's harmless, it's just a paint finish. First of all, you need to be in an LS Customs. You can't do this from any of your own garages or the LS Car Meet. So head over to LS Customs and pick the matte colour that you want as your base. Now normally when you do this, when you go to the pearlescent finishes, it will tell you that you can't apply a pearlescent finish because you need to have a metallic base. So what you do then, head into the metallic colours and just scroll all the way through the list. Now, I don't know exactly how many times or for how long you have to do this, because if you don't go far enough it doesn't work, but you don't seem to be able to go too far. So what I will typically do, just press down and just scroll through all the list 2 or 3 times. Don't select anything, just scroll through it. Then hit back up, and then you're going to go back again and go up to your plate and just change your number plate for any other plate. And I know these steps sound strange, but they do work. Just pick any other plate, then head back into the paint colours, and what you will see is if you go down to pearlescent, you've got all of your pearlescent options in there. Now you can get some really cool effects with this. Usually if you apply a darker base and then a pearlescent from the same range of colours over the top, it can look quite cool, but I had a very specific thing in mind that I wanted to achieve, and that is exactly it. So that's how you glitch the pearlescent finish onto the matte paint. So let's have a look at this lap, shall we? And I've got to admit, it took a bit of a while because this car is actually probably the best donuts car out there. which is great if you want to do donuts. Not great if you want to turn corners. So this was one of the scruffiest attempts at a lap I've had for a long time. Now, that doesn't mean I'm saying this is a bad car. I'm not. I love this car. On the way it drives, it would certainly be accurate to say this is not the most refined driving experience in the game. I don't think there are any secrets about that, but what I will add to that is it does actually drive exactly how you would expect it to. It's front engine rear drive, lots of power and incredibly light, so it feels nimble. It understeers more than you would expect, but arguably oversteers maybe slightly less than you would have expected. But the way it does it all, it feels controllable. I like that. I like driving this thing. I think I'm gonna. This is definitely a keeper. This is not going in my cars to be sold garage, which is filling up rapidly. It just has a nice feel. I'll go back to my video on cars with personality. This one actually should be in there, even though in some ways it's a bit of a predictable kind of style of car because there are so many out there. And I say so many, I mean so many of the replicas out there, because if you could have a replica of one of these, why would you not? So yeah, in the game I'm loving this. I think this is going to get quite a lot of use. The lap time it's putting together seems reasonable but not amazing, which is kind of what you'd expect from a sports classic. It is a shame there isn't more customization. I've got to admit, I would have liked to have been able to do a little bit more with it. So we head round here and over the bridges. Here's the final time this one managed to do. And here's where it sits on the lap board. So as ever, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Do remember, get out and pick this one up this week. And also remember, we've got the fabulous new survival mode. I've done it quite a few times. It's really good fun. You should absolutely give it a try. Even if you don't usually do survival modes, head over there. It is one that you can do solo. So it's not like some of the other survival modes where you've got to wait to populate a lobby. If you're struggling to get into a populated lobby, you can do this one solo. So there's no reason not to. And on that, take care of yourselves. And I'll see you all in the next one.